Guys, listen, I have no idea what that all was about, but I can only assume because I just wasn't there, right? All I can imagine is that he came in, referring to Zelensky, he came into the White House with this sense of bravado that honestly made no sense, specifically if you're basically asking for handouts, okay? Let's just boil it down to that because I mean, we can kind of add some fluff to it, but it just doesn't matter in this context. The reality is that that's the situation. And then for you to be basically so disrespectful in the White House, I immediately said he had to apologize. The offer that we are giving him is the most logical thing. Okay, if the United States of America can be moderately embedded within the Ukraine, even if it's in the terms of doing some slight business with the Ukraine, securing mineral rights for some of the gigantic amount of money that we have basically spent in that country, if we can get something in return, great. And that in return would then tell Russia, oh wait, maybe I can't continue down this path. Why? Because now you're messing with our interests. You see what I'm saying here? And that is the smartest thing in the world. That will end a good amount of it. But instead, a lot of the war hawks and things like that are just trying to be like, no, we need to keep funding the Ukraine pretty much indefinitely, and giving them more money and more money and more money, right? Until we basically set off WW3. I think that's what they wanted, right? I'm glad this didn't happen. I'm definitely glad that Trump kind of stepped up in this context and gave somewhat of a logical thing so we can stop the concept of war, at least, guys. I like this idea. I think we can get a lot from it, guys, okay? But let's go and check this out immediately. Trump pulls off the impossible, secures a ceasefire from the Ukraine as Zelensky bows to U.S. demands. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's go and check this out immediately, guys.
Trump has just pulled off what many have tried and failed to do. Yes, Donald Trump and his team have convinced President Zelensky and Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire in the war against Russia.
But very importantly, and I said it, Ukraine, ceasefire. Ukraine, ceasefire. Just agreed to a little while ago. Now we have to go to Russia and hopefully President Putin will agree to that also. And we can get this show on the road. We can get this horrible war where 2,000-3,000 soldiers a week, every week, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 sometimes. I get the reports. And they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and they're Russian. But people are being killed outside of that. People are being killed in the cities as things explode throughout the cities. And we want to get that war over with. So I think it's a big difference between the last visit you saw at the Oval Office and this. So that's a total ceasefire. Ukraine has agreed to it. And hopefully Russia will agree to it. We're going to meet with them later on today and tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to wipe out a deal. But I think the ceasefire is very important. If we can get Russia to do it, that'll be great. If we can't, we just keep going on and people are going to get killed. Lots of people.
Marco Rubio.
Okay, really quickly, guys. So when it comes down to kind of all the things that you just said here, I definitely would have wished that they would have gotten that at least on camera, right? I mean, but I understand maybe the cameras last time, kind of made things a little bit uncomfortable for Zelensky, and this was his response. Who knows? I mean, literally, who knows the psyche of someone? He is going through something absolutely terrible within his country, so that's a thing here, guys. Right?
Rubio is at the coalface in Saudi Arabia negotiating the deal with Ukraine, and he confirmed the ceasefire.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
President Zelensky also weighed in, this time expressing a much more cordial.
Сьогодні є готовність.
Online commentators applauded the step forward towards peace, with this person saying, President Trump did the impossible. He just secured a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine. President Trump deserves an apology from every liberal and fake news reporter. We did it. This
Okay, here's the thing, though, right? Keep this in mind. I mean, Putin still has to definitely agree to this. And again, if we do actually have interests in the Ukraine, that could most likely make it stop a good amount, guys. Because I mean, attacking America is not the smartest thing in the world here, guys, right? But again, do I completely 1,000% or how about this, even 20% believe that Putin is going to just completely stop the madness? I'm not sure I believe that. I think history says a little slightly different when it comes to ceasefires or dealing with specifically Putin, right? Not Russians, because I know a lot of Russians. Russians are cool guys, right? But just government issues, right? But I just don't think that it's going to stop, guys. I mean, it could if we can get there and actually properly secure our interests, at least.
commentator agrees, saying Trump should be in the running for a Nobel Peace Prize. Ukraine has agreed to a 30-day ceasefire. Incredible work by Trump team. Now, if Russia agrees, Trump may have gotten ceasefires in the Middle East and Europe in his first 60 days. Nobel Peace Prize worthy. But not everyone is so sure. This commentator slams Zelensky for trying to dictate the terms of ceasefire to Russia. He said, "In what military college do they teach that the collapsed army on the run, like Ukraine in Kursk, gets to dictate ceasefire terms?
None.
Maybe that's what they teach in West Point, but Russian academics have a different curriculum. Ukraine has one choice. It's called surrender."
Yeah. That's kind of exactly how I see a good amount of this argument here, because again, you can't successfully defend yourself against this overwhelming force. You cannot, and without any help from anyone else, you just cannot, bro. Right? So you dictating things is going to be interesting. I know that they're going to have to give some type of concession, and I just can't wait to hear what the concessions are, right? Because again, Russia's already in the country. You get what I'm saying here, guys? I'm not sure that they're going to back away from what they've already conquered.
Independent journalist Carl Becker agrees, saying Zelensky is not interested in peace as drone attacks on Moscow continued throughout the night. He said, Ukraine President Zelensky ordered a drone attack on Moscow overnight. Hundreds of drones attacked the capital, killing 3 people and injuring 18 more civilians. Ukraine is clearly not interested in peace.
Guys, let's just wait for this story to continue developing before we kind of, jump to conclusions. Well, how about this? Before I jump to any more conclusions, I think that you're probably going to have to listen more to what Russia is demanding, specifically if you want them to stop. Because again, why would they? How are you making the guidelines for this ceasefire exactly? And why would they follow it? Again, if it's wild for them, they're not going to do it. But let's see where this goes, guys. I'm definitely here for this story. But in the meantime, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.